Welcome to Facts That Sound Fake But Aren't. The Theoretically Possible Gaming Edition. Same rules as last time. Everything here is physically allowed. The universe just finds it extremely inconvenient. Let's get into it. A poker player could be dealt a royal flush 5 hands in a row. The probability of being dealt a royal flush in a single 5-card hand from a shuffled 52-card deck is approximately 1 in 649,740. The probability of receiving a royal flush on 5 consecutive hands is that number raised to the 5th power, roughly 1 in 1.16 times 10 to the power of 29. That is more than 100 million times larger than the number of stars estimated to exist in the observable universe. No casino has ever observed this. No casino expects to. But the deck is shuffled fresh each hand. Each deal is independent. Nothing in the rules of physics or probability grants the dealer any kind of protection against this outcome. The cards do not remember what they have already done. They are simply arranged, and the arrangement that produces 5 consecutive royal flushes is one arrangement among an enormous number of equally weighted arrangements. A Minecraft world seed could generate the exact same world twice. Minecraft generates worlds using a random seed, a number that initializes the algorithm responsible for terrain, caves, biomes, structures, and every other feature. The seed space in modern Minecraft is 2 to the power of 64, giving approximately 18.4 quintillion possible seeds. When a player creates a new world without specifying a seed, the game selects one at random. The probability that 2 players, or the same player twice, randomly generate identical worlds is roughly 1 in 18.4 quintillion per pair of attempts. Across the entire player base, with hundreds of millions of worlds generated since the game's release, it remains extraordinarily unlikely that any 2 randomly chosen seeds have ever collided. But the seed space is finite. The algorithm is deterministic. The same seed always produces the same world. Duplication is not physically impossible. It is statistically improbable given the size of the number space. If the player base grows indefinitely, and world generation continues indefinitely, a collision will eventually happen. A player could encounter a shiny Pokémon on 10 consecutive wild encounters in the original Pokémon Gold and Silver games. The chance of encountering a shiny Pokémon in the wild is 1 in 8,192 per encounter. The probability of encountering 10 shinies in a row is 1 in 8,192 to the power of 10, approximately 1 in 1.27 times 10 to the power of 39. The game's random number generator produces this outcome through a deterministic process seeded by system inputs. There is no flag that prevents shiny encounters from clustering. The game checks each encounter independently. A run of 10 consecutive shinies is simply a sequence of favorable random checks, each of which is individually unlikely. No player has ever documented this occurring legitimately, but the code does not forbid it. The random number generator has no memory of past results. Each encounter starts from a fresh check with the same base probability. Rolling a natural 20 on 20 consecutive dice rolls in a tabletop game is possible. A standard 20-sided die, used in role-playing games, has an equal probability of landing on any face, a 1 in 20 chance per roll. The probability of rolling 20 consecutive natural 20s is 1 in 20 to the power of 20. Or 1 in approximately 1.05 times 10 to the power of 26. In practical terms, if every human who has ever played a tabletop role-playing game had done nothing but roll dice for their entire lifetimes, the expected number of such streaks produced would be close to 0. But each roll of a physical die is an independent mechanical event. The die has no memory of prior outcomes. There is no physical mechanism that makes a natural 20 less likely after the preceding 19. The physics of each throw is reset entirely when the die leaves the hand. Every enemy in a dungeon could drop their rarest item on the same run. Many role-playing games assign each enemy a loot table with items at varying rarity levels. A rare drop might have a 1 in 1,000 chance. If a dungeon contains 20 enemies, each with an independent 1 in 1,000 chance of dropping their rarest item, the probability of all 20 dropping their rare items on the same run is 1 in 1,000 to the power of 20, or 1 in 10 to the power of 60. This would require the game's random number generator to produce a favorable outcome for every single enemy in the same session. Each check is independent. The game does not adjust drop rates based on prior drops within the run. The RNG produces a number, compares it to a threshold, and yields a result. Nothing prevents all 20 comparisons from coming out favorably at once. Players who farm rare drops for hundreds of hours have occasionally seen a single run yield 2 or 3 rare drops simultaneously. The principle scales. A speedrunner could receive the perfect random number generator seed on their first attempt. Many speedruns of classic games are heavily influenced by random number generator outputs, which enemies appear, what items drop, what path a boss takes, whether a critical hit occurs. The optimal seed, the one that aligns every random event in the run with the most favorable possible outcome, is known for many games. Runners sometimes spend thousands of attempts seeking favorable RNG before achieving a record. But there is no rule preventing the optimal seed from occurring on a runner's very first attempt. The game does not know it is being speedrun. It does not know how many attempts have been made. The RNG initializes from system state and produces a sequence of values independently of history. First attempt world records have occurred in individual categories. The probability of achieving a theoretically optimal run on the first attempt decreases as the number of independent random events involved increases, but never reaches zero. A chess engine playing randomly could produce the same game. Twice the number of possible chess games is estimated at around 10 to the power of 120, a number known as the Shannon number. This exceeds the number of atoms in the observable universe by many orders of magnitude. If two chess engines played games by selecting moves completely at random, the probability that any two of their games would be identical is vanishingly small. But chess is a finite game played on a finite board with a finite set of legal moves at each position. The total game tree is enormous but not infinite. Two randomly played games occupying the same sequence of moves from start to finish is a definable event with a non-zero probability. No two random games are known to have ever matched. But the game does not know how many times it has been played before. Each position produces the same set of legal moves regardless of history. Every slot machine in a casino could hit the jackpot simultaneously. A modern slot machine determines outcomes using a random number generator that cycles through billions of values per second. When a player presses the button, the current value is used to determine the result. Jackpot combinations are typically set to occur roughly once every several million spins. The probability of every slot machine on a casino floor, say, 1,000 machines, hitting the jackpot on the same spin is approximately 1 in 1 million to the power of 1,000. Written out, that number would require several thousand digits. No casino has any mechanism that physically prevents this. The machines do not communicate with each other. Each RNG is independent. Each spin produces a result without knowledge of what any other machine is doing. A casino's risk models treat this outcome as impossible. They are using the word loosely. A player could clear a Tetris board with every piece arriving in a perfect sequence. Tetris pieces, called tetrominoes, come in 7 types. In the modern guideline versions of Tetris, the game uses a bag randomizer. It shuffles all 7 pieces and deals them in a random order, then reshuffles. This guarantees players will see all 7 pieces before any repeats. The ideal sequence for clearing lines efficiently depends on the current board state, making a universally perfect game a complex optimization problem. But mathematically, the probability of the bag randomizer producing the exact optimal sequence of pieces for an arbitrarily long perfect game decreases as the game length increases. A perfect game of finite length, one in which every piece fits optimally with no wasted space for every bag, is a state that the randomizer can, in principle, produce. High-level competitive players have cleared boards near perfectly in short bursts. Extending that across an entire game requires the randomizer to cooperate, to a degree it almost never does. A player could win 10 coin flip minigames in a row in a party game. Many party video games include minigames that are entirely or primarily determined by random chance, guessing heads or tails, spinning a wheel, drawing from a deck. In a pure coin flip with 2 outcomes, the probability of winning 10 consecutive flips is 1 in 1024. In a group of 4 players, each playing independently, The probability that one of them wins 10 consecutive coin flip decisions in a single session of play is not negligible. But even in games with less favorable odds, say, a 1 in 6 random draw, 10 consecutive wins have a probability of roughly 1 in 60 million. Players who have experienced significant winning streaks in random minigames are experiencing the ordinary tale of a probability distribution, not a malfunction. The game is behaving correctly. The distribution simply permits extreme outcomes. A golf video game player could hit a hole in 1 on 18 consecutive holes. Most golf video games include a random element in shot outcomes, wind variation, lie simulation, putting variance, even at the highest skill levels. A hole-in-one in a golf simulation requires a combination of correct aim, correct power, and favorable random variance. In games where hole-in-ones are possible but uncommon, the probability per shot might be roughly 1 in several hundred under optimal conditions. Hitting 18 consecutive holes in one, completing an entire round of golf in 18 shots, would require the random variance to cooperate on every single shot. The probability is the per-shot probability raised to the 18th power. No documented case of this occurring legitimately in a major golf simulation is known. But the random seed that produces 18 consecutive holes in one on a given course is a specific number that exists within the RNG's range. It has been generated by the system before. It will be generated again. The rarest item in an MMO could drop on a player's very first kill. Many massively multiplayer games contain items with drop rates of 1 in 10,000, 1 in 100,000, or lower. Players who chase these items typically farm the relevant enemy for hours or days before obtaining one. But drop rates are independent for each kill. The game does not track how many attempts a player has made, and adjusts the probability accordingly, unless a pity system has been specifically programmed in. Without a pity system, a player's first kill of an enemy is statistically identical to their 10,000th kill. The probability of a 1 in 10,000 drop occurring on the first attempt is exactly 1 in 10,000. This happens to players every day across large games, because with millions of players each making their first kill independently, the expected number of first kill rare drops on any given day across the player base is substantial. What looks like extraordinary luck is the normal tale of a large distribution. A random character generator could produce 2 identical characters in sequence role-playing games and tabletop systems that use random character generation, rolling ability scores, determining starting equipment, randomizing traits and backgrounds, create characters from a large but finite combination space. The probability of 2 consecutive random characters being identical in every attribute depends on the size of the combination space. In a game with 6 ability scores, each ranging from 3 to 18, the combinations for those scores alone number in the millions. Adding class, race, background, equipment roles, and trait roles expands this to billions or trillions. The probability of 2 identical characters in sequence is the reciprocal of that number. But character generators have no memory between generations. The same inputs can theoretically produce the same outputs. The seed space is finite. With infinite generations, every character will eventually repeat, and that is the theoretically possible gaming addition. The games are not broken. The RNGs are not malfunctioning. The physics and the mathematics simply permit outcomes that have never been observed, and almost certainly never will be. Almost certainly is doing a lot of work in that sentence. More episodes coming.